Hey guys! Today in our video we're going to start with rotations. We are also going to be doing dilations, but we're starting with rotations. So you want to open your flip books to the page that has this at the top, the 90, the 180, and the 270. And how you want to think of a rotation is you want to think of it as a turn. Alright, it's turning counterclockwise, and we have some rotation rules about the origin. So here's counterclockwise. In a minute I'm going to show you clockwise. So the rule with it going counterclockwise is that you're going to have an X and a Y. And what's going to happen is they're going to switch places and your Y is going to become the opposite value. Alright, so 90 degrees. Switch places, Y becomes the opposite value. Alright, for 180 degrees. The thing that simply happens is the X and the Y, they stay in the same place, they just become the opposite value. So if they're positive here, then they become negative after a 180 rotation. And then we have X comma Y, oh, whoops, for 270 degrees counterclockwise, we have X comma Y, and we have Y comma negative X. Y comma negative X. So, this first example, you'll see I have it drawn out all ready for you. And I went ahead and plotted my first figure here. And this is a rotation, okay? It's moved about. So what I did is I looked and I saw that it was 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, 90 degrees counterclockwise. So that means my X and my Y are going to switch places and my Y's going to become opposite. So here for L, well, my X and Y switch places, but it's the same number, so not too big of a deal. But then my Y value becomes opposite, so it becomes negative 2, 2. And then here, my X and my Y value change places, so it becomes 2, 6. And since it was a negative 2, it's actually going to come a positive 2. So it becomes positive 2, 6. And then here, again, they're going to switch places. So it's going to be 3, 5, but because it was a positive 3 up here, it becomes a negative 5. And again, you're going to want to plot both images. Don't forget to put sub 1, right, for each of these shapes. Right, then we move over here to 180 degrees about the origin. All right, and I have, for my P, negative 5, 5. And if we look back at the rule, oh, they stay in the same order, it's just they become opposite. So now since this is a negative 5, my image is going to be a positive 5, and then my second one will be a negative 5. And then here again, they stay in the same order, but they become opposite values. So what is once a negative 1 now is a positive 1, and once what was a positive 6 now becomes a negative 6, and so on and so forth. Okay, and let's do this 270 degree one, because we haven't done that yet. All right, but if we look at our rules up here for 270, our X and our Y change places, but this time the X becomes opposite. So, for A, for E, we're going to look at our normal one, and they're going to switch places, right? Which was a positive 1 and a negative 4, so they switch places. I have negative 4 here. And then my 1 actually becomes a negative 1 because it becomes opposite. Again, for F, they switch places. They've swapped places. But now my X, which was 2, becomes negative. Again, swapping places. So negative 3. And then the X value from original, 8, becomes negative. Again, they swapped places. Negative 6, 7, and then my X value becomes opposite. All right, what I would like you guys to do is finish the rest of this on your own, all right? And I want you to pay attention to these rules. So we just talked about counterclockwise about the origin. Now, I'm going to show you clockwise about the origin, okay? So, if it's 90 degrees clockwise, again, the X and the Y trade places, but the X becomes opposite this time. All right, In 270, again, the x and the y trade places, but the y becomes opposite. All right, and that's your rules for rotations. I'll be coming at you with dilations here in a sec.